Hello, our project is about police shootings in the United States from 2015 to the current year. Our data was taken from the Washington Post originally, but we also use a lot of other data sources such as the US Census information to combine the data to create a more holistic picture and create more insightful findings regarding police shootings in the United States.
We decided to test 4 hypotheses with our dashboard. Those hypotheses were lower median income, lower graduation rate, and higher population at poverty is correlated with more deaths at the county level. Our second hypothesis is that minorities are killed by the police at a much higher rate than that of non-minority races. Our third hypothesis is young Black males would be the highest age category killed by police across the United States. Our fourth hypothesis is that Southern states where racism is an underlying issue will have a much higher percentage of deaths of minorities given their population size. So we decided to use a Coro Plus map as our main interaction feature. We can hover over any of these counties across the United States, and it will show us how many people have been killed by police in these counties. It'll also give us the county name. And when I click, it will interact with all the other graphs and change their values too. So when I click, our title changes and we can see exactly where we have decided to press. We have a color range where the higher number of deaths is given in yellow and more warmer colors, and the lower number of deaths is blue and purple.
So we chose to use scatterplot to demonstrate regional information, such as, for this example, this is the number of people killed relative to population. And we actually found something surprising with this. We expected the South to have the highest proportion of people killed by police given population due to underlying factors such as racism and general gun culture. To our surprise, we found that the West was actually the most dangerous overall in this respect. How this chart links to the Choropleth map, we can click any state, for example, New York, and it highlights the Northeast. This covers all 4 regions of the United States. We can also look at other information such as the percent of African Americans in each region. We have a lot of information over here that we can explore to compare one region to another.
So we also have a bar chart, and this bar chart shows the percentage of the population size versus the percent of those killed in that population. So if I click on a certain county, we can see that this has a very high percent white population. And we can see that 81% of the population is white here. And we can see that 61% of the population that was killed is white. And we can do this for all the different populations across that region, across that county, and we can click into different counties and see how their percentages differ. So this helps us answer our question that our hypothesis that minorities are killed by police at a much higher rate than non-minority races. We can tell here, so say I click on this county, we can see that the Black population is only 4.63% of the entire county's population, but of the deaths, they take up 16% of the deaths, almost 17% of the deaths, whereas the white population is 51% of the whole entire population in that county, yet they only make up 26% of the deaths in that county. And we can see this for all the counties, and I can also go to the whole United States as a whole, and I can see that relative to the population size, minorities seem to be killed at a higher rate than their size of their populations.
This leads us into our next plot, which is also a bar graph, but this one is organized according to age, group, race, and gender across the United States. So we have a double bar chart and a stacked bar chart in one. The bars are ordered from male to female, and also they're ordered by age. And this helps us see which age groups experience the most police fatalities. Also, according to race. This is much like the bar graph before, but incorporates different information regarding only the people who were killed. So I can click anywhere. If I go back to state, it'll show only the deaths, for example, in that state. For example, in this plot, we can see that a large portion of the deaths were from Hispanic males, larger than one would expect, especially because in the previous plot, we can also see that a good portion of the deaths were indeed from Hispanics. We can also go somewhere with more relevance to us, such as Suffolk County, and we can see the deaths on a smaller scale. In this case, there are only 4 deaths, so they are organized as such. And if we go to the entire country, we get a much greater picture of overall potential bias in regards to police killings. We see that a very prominent group, given the population size, is African Americans in the 20 to 30 age bracket and the 30 to 40 age bracket compared to their overall proportion of the population. This is also visible in the previous bar graph because the population percent is much lower than the death percentage.
So our next plot is our parallel coordinates, which is a non-standard plot. We decided it was important to see if deaths correlated with any of these other factors that are in each county. So this works with our map again. And if we click a region, it will change the highlighted county. I mean, if we click a county, it'll change the highlighted county. So for example, let me click maybe Suffolk County. So we know that Suffolk County has a high median income, and we can just follow this to see how these things are correlated. If I brush, now if I go back and I brush all the values above, in the median income above $100,000, I can see that it is correlated with percentage of adults without high school diplomas is very low for those with a high median income. The unemployment rate is very low relative to the median income. And the deaths is also low, which is our most important part. So there's a causal relationship. It seems that when there's a high median household income, there are much less deaths per the population size.
Before we wrap up, we'd like to take a look at these values in the upper right corner over here. We understand that it might be misleading to display deaths without any other context. So we'd like to take a moment to point out the portion of victims who were armed or who were perceived as a threat. More than half of the victims were perceived as threatening. However, this certainly does not account for those who weren't threatening to people. Also, we have these buttons over here that we were using in our demonstration that really tie the whole thing together. We could look at the entire United States, or we could even go to a specific state and only look at the statistics in that particular area. County even gets more specific. Go back to state. This gives the user a lot of control over which data they want to see. Thank you very much.
Thank you.